Pledge of Allegiance invitation of Vice Mayor Louise.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Father, we thank you for your goodness and mercy to us, and we ask that as we conduct the business of the city, that you would give us hearts of compassion, that you would help us to keep in mind our whole community, and that you would be with us as we make decisions. We ask all this in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen.
I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve tonight's agenda. Do I have a second? All right, Amanda seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Rolling down the list here, item D, citizen comments. We ask that when you come to the podium, there's no microphone because the microphones aren't working, but please sign your name and address, and it's 3 minutes for you to express your concerns. It's not a time for dialogue. If you want to visit and have a dialogue, we're happy to schedule time after the meeting to do those things. So I will go ahead and open citizen comments and come right up and sign in.
Mayor, I might just have you add, there is a public hearing for an agenda item later. This is not the time to speak on that.
And that's the public hearing on
611 North Spruce.
611
There'll be a
Spruce.
public hearing scheduled for that after citizen comments. So now's not the time for that agenda
Okay,
item.
just so you know.
What's the agenda item?
It's number one, public hearing for 611 North Spruce Street.
That's nothing to do with me.
Okay, that's good. We're good. We're just been clarifying things for everybody, so.
Oh, great. So I have a totally separate issue.
Great.
I'm Kenneth Jack. I'm here with my wife, Allison Jack. We live at 16,000 West Hickory Street, Goddard, Kansas. Our home site is adjacent to the newly annexed Rachel Brooks addition. I'm here about a road safety problem that the new ongoing construction is creating at our driveway, and to ask the city council for permission to fix the problem. Here's our request up front. Allow us to move our driveway entrance about 20 feet to the south and plant a line of trees across our old entrance. These simple changes will restore the safety of our driveway we've had that safety for 27 years. Our house was built in 1999 when Hickory Street was a cul-de-sac at the corner of our property. With county approval, we joined our driveway with the cul-de-sac. The circular dead end has always been a safety factor, making our entrance safe. Drivers could always see that the road ended there, so no one mistook our driveway for a through street. The new construction, which is currently ongoing, it removes the cul-de-sac and turns Hickory into a through street. But the new roadway, the westward extension, does not line up with the old one. Drivers on Hickory headed west will approach two openings lying ahead. Our driveway straight ahead to the front, and Rachel Brooks' entrance on the left. The danger is that a driver who is not paying close attention will read these two openings as an ordinary two-lane road, mistaking our driveway for their travel lane and the subdivision entrance as the oncoming lane. Believing that they are simply staying in their lane, the drivers will drive straight into our driveway, never realizing that it is a private drive and never expecting that one of us, my family, would be pulling out the other way. We're certain that this will happen repeatedly in future years. And it is an unacceptable safety risk. The new road plan creates a risk of roadway collisions in my family's driveway. The fix itself is simple, and both the city and the developer have indicated that the solution would be workable. Moving our entrance 20 feet to the south and planting the row of trees would tell drivers plainly that Hickory does not continue onto our private drive. But there's one obstacle, and that's why we're here tonight. The city staff has told us that we cannot move our driveway unless we first annex our entire property into the city of Goddard. A safety hazard should be fixed because it is a hazard. not used as leverage to win a valuable annexation. We're not asking the city for money or services, only that we not be exposed to an unsafe condition created by new construction. We ask the city council to allow this fix on its merits, separate from annexation. The city has given us a 30-day deadline to resolve this issue. So we request that the council place the matter on its agenda for the next meeting, 2 weeks from now, so it can be considered and decided on its own merits. I've brought a packet of maps and materials which clarifies and explains the issue and our position. It shows the problem very clearly. I've also brought authority showing with focusing on driveway design. The National Academy of Sciences, National Cooperative Highway Research Program, the NCHRP Report 659 entitled Guide for Geometric Design of Driveways, has a chapter, Angle of Intersection.
Mayor, the speaker's 3-minute time limit's up. I would encourage the governing body to decide per our code of meeting procedure if they want to vote to extend more time or to ask him to take his seat back in the audience.
Now, how much time?
I just have 2 items of authority that I'd like to summarize.
We'll grant you an additional 2 minutes or whatever.
Certainly.
So.
Well, that
All
was
in
what
favor of
you-
that? I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Well, that item of authority, the National Cooperative Highway Research Program, it states research studies have concluded that the intersection angle should not be skewed from 90 degrees by more than 15 to 20 degrees. The current ongoing construction, it establishes a skew angle for my driveway at 90 degrees, well in advance, well beyond the 15 to 20 degrees that's provided by those studies. I've also brought a road safety briefing sheet published by the U.S. Department of Transportation, Federal Highway Administration. It's titled Access Management Driveways. It states, in general, driveways should intersect the main roadways in a perpendicular fashion, and highly skewed layouts should be avoided whenever possible. These are publications that focus on the safety of driveway connections with public roads. My family's ending up with a totally unsafe situation. It's an easy fix. We ask permission to simply move ahead with our own fix. It won't interrupt or interfere with anybody, and it will assure my family's safety. But the main request today is that the matter be put onto the agenda so it can be, I'm sure that the city has a position on this, and it's something that needs to be dealt with in an orderly, reasonable fashion, not in a hurried fashion. So if it could go onto the city council agenda for in 2 weeks from today, we'd certainly appreciate that. But thank you for your consideration. And I have these materials. I can give them to you or hand them. I have enough copies for everybody.
Mr. Jack, if you want to give those to the city clerk, we'll make sure that they make it to the council. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next matter.
Linda Giesman, and I'm at 201 North Pine. Good evening. I had talked with a neighbor who had commented on Facebook regarding an issue that she had seen and had witnessed herself. And on Facebook there were many other comments similar to her story. And so I would like to read to you her posting on that Facebook, what she had witnessed about a week ago, I guess it would be. So she said, I was stopped yesterday afternoon on Main Street, waiting to turn onto Kellogg, and watched a group of 3 kids zipping down the frontage road on a mini bike and 2 powered scooters cutting through the parking lot of Bumgar's and the gas station without looking. I was nervous for them because they weren't wearing helmets, going fast, and not paying any attention. And can you imagine kids doing things like that? I'm sure I did it myself. Of course, mine was a bicycle. Mine was not motorized. However, kids, they're out just to have fun, and we know that. And they want to enjoy their toys. We know that. But they've got vehicles out there that would be very damaging to them if something happens. And I know you are all aware of it because I notified my neighbor that you are already discussing it. That it is an issue that's been brought before you, and so you are already in the works. But I just wanted to bring this to you because the citizens are taking notice and they are nervous. And it's something that, just takes a priority. Again, it's our kids, you know, they don't think about safety, we have to. So, one other thing I just want to quickly say is that a week from tonight at Texas Roadhouse will be a giving night, and they'll be giving to the senior center for the van, which is soon to be here. And so I just want to encourage everybody to enjoy next Monday, Texas Roadhouse, and mention the senior center at Goddard. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. Anyone else?
I'll jump in real quick.
Sure.
Hello, council. My name is Anthony or Tony Lane, and I live next to these folks. I live at 159 Duke West Hickory. And I'm just here to plead similar with compassion in their situation. And I can understand where it's coming from, and I'm not going to drag this out, but if there's any questions or doubt with the council, I urge you just come and look at it. Aesthetically, it doesn't look right, and I think that the men that they're recommending would be an improvement to the entrance, not only to his property, but also to Rachel Brooks. Because right now, we're gonna have two off-site entrances that aren't gonna make sense. And there is some confusion if you stand back and then you approach it. So I just wanted to make that statement, but I really encourage you to come and look at it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Need more time to get that written down.
Yeah, no, I put you under pressure. Thanks for listening.
You bet,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Okay, anyone else? I won't run it down like an auctioneer, but we'll go ahead and close citizen comments for this evening. Item E, ex parte conflict of interest declaration. Let's check in to see if there's any conflicts with tonight's agenda. That's, we're good on that. We have no appointments, proclamations, recognitions, or nominations tonight. Consent agenda. Entertain a motion to approve that.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Krista's made a motion to approve the consent agenda. Second. Corey seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. No unfinished business. Item I1. Media Director, Michael Scott. Thanks for finding my sunglasses in your car.
Yeah, I was wondering who did it work. Alright, so. Alright, council, Honorable Mayor and City Council, this is item I1, this is 611 North Street, unfit for habitation public hearing. So I'm gonna go through some of these processes. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. There is a public hearing as mentioned, at which point you guys can have a two-way dialogue with the property owner. property owner is present, and at which point, after the public hearing, you can close the public hearing, you can deliberate, and then act accordingly. We'll give you several options at the very end of which you can act on. So the first, one of the options, it actually says staff recommendation, and of course, you guys can do whatever you wish on the matter. Our attorney was supposed to be here. She's
Micah,
not.
she's on the phone.
Okay, very good, thank you. So our attorney's on the phone, so if you guys have any questions for the city attorney, you can direct it that way. But City Government Code compliance team has visited property 611 North Spruce Street on numerous occasions and have witnessed a number of code violations contrary to city code, chapter 8, health and welfare. June 4th, city staff received a warrant into the property inspected for habitation under chapter 8, article 6, staff observed the property was in a severely distressed state, and determined that the property was unfit for habitation. Resolution requesting a public hearing was approved on June 15th to allow the property owner to speak on the matter. The resolution set the public hearing for today, August 3rd at 7 p.m., which time the council can determine how much time they will allow the property owner to remediate on their own before the city evicts them from the property and steps in to remediate for them. It is the current opinion of the committee development director and myself that the property did not seem to be in a state requiring it to be raised, which means torn down, or only remediating. However, remediation would require eviction until such time as property is fully habitable again. So City Council is reviewing a resolution requiring property owner 611 North Spruce to remediate the inside of their property within a specified time. All costs incurred will be billed to the property owner. In the event those costs are not paid, to be assessed against the property as a lien. If legally proved as the form, as mentioned, our city attorney is on the phone. It is recommended City Council vote 1, open the public hearing, receive comments, close the public hearing, and then everybody can following the actions that act on this particular resolution. But it would be to approve the resolution requiring the property owner to remediate their property as set forth in the resolution of time given and allowing staff to request a warrant by a court judge to search the property and remediate in the event of non-compliance. That is staff's recommendation. Number 2 is to approve the resolution with modifications, so of course you guys can act on it in how way you wish. And of course 3 would be to dismiss the case, and 4 would be to table the case. So at this point, if there's any questions for me, you guys are welcome to open the public hearing. Like I said, the property owner is here. They can speak on their behalf. You guys are welcome to have a two-way dialogue. After you are satisfied, the property owner will sit back down. You can close the public hearing, and you will deliberate amongst yourselves, and then act in whichever way you see fit. Pretty straightforward. All right. Any questions for me?
No, sir.
All right, Mr. Mayor, you can open the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to open the public hearing. Do I have a second?
A second.
Krista seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Come on up.
Okay.
You guys come over this way. And state your name for the record, where you live.
Janelle Marshall, 611 North Spruce,
No, I'm Alan James, I'm a father.
Okay.
So, on any of that, like, I didn't get any records of what was wrong with the house or anything. I got to sign a piece of paper stating that they didn't take anything from my home, so I have no idea what they're looking at or anything like that. I do have some holes in my wall that my ex did leave and promised to fix, but he never has. So I am working on that. I'm working 2 jobs. I'm trying to raise my kids and my grandbabies. So that's my defense. The house is fairly old, so I mean, there's that, and of course, every time they work on any kind of plumbing out here, all my stuff gets backed up.
What exactly, what violations did they get, or just uninhabitable?
So, do you want me to address that?
Yeah, I'll let you, I mean,
So-
they've been into the building, they've
Yeah.
taken pictures and,
Yeah, see,
Because me and my ex-wife both have been out there for, spent 2 or 3 days out there and cleaned that place up.
yeah, before they even came in.
So City Council has seen the video, so we presented evidence during the adoption of the resolution, so you guys have all privately seen the video of what we observed when we entered the property.
At that time, I agree with you.
And the resolution that's being presented today that staff's recommended is 14 days for them to start the process of cleaning up the property and 60 days to remediate. That would be cleaning up completely the inside of the property, wiping it down, cleaning it out, wiping down the walls, removing any junk, trash, feces, anything else, anything that was observed in that video that's considered unfit for habitation. Staff would make that determination upon entering the house. If we're prohibited from entering the house, of course, we'll ask to file with the warrant judge to enter the property, just like last time, and make any observations to make sure that it's done according to our standards for unfit for habitation, and then make sure it's deemed habitable again. If it's done accordingly, then we won't need to remediate on city staff won't have to step in and remediate on our own.
Can we get a list of, what you actually got
Anything
work
else
on.
supposed to
Yeah,
do?
so of course that would be provided upon adoption of the resolution, but of course it's up to city council to make that determination if the city needs to step in and remediate on their own, or if we need to do it ourselves by actually acting on this resolution, so it's up to city council to make that determination.
It was convenient that I was at court at the time when I busted the door down. With my two mice. Yeah, but still.
So I mean, I guess, are you willing to commit over the next 60 days to?
I have been, but they didn't even give me that option at
Well,
all.
but there's a process this all has to go through, and, so notification and getting to this point, I guess.
I think that's fair.
I mean,
So,
we're dealing with the law the way it's kind of established. Well, I mean, we're not making this up as we go, but I guess I'm interested in just, getting your word that you'll go ahead and put it up so that it's habitable and that,
we've done a lot of work on a lot of stuff off already.
Yeah, I'm
I
actually
didn't
trying to
realize
get
that.
out of Goddard myself, because, I don't like the fact that my ex keeps driving by my house and the cops do nothing about it, so.
it's a whole nother.
It
Yeah.
matter, I know, but I don't like him knowing where
No,
I
I'm
live.
sure, it's unfortunate, I'm sorry you have to go through all this, so. Any other comments? I mean,
I would just ask if you're willing to commit to the 14-day process initially, and then when the observation needs to be made, that you would cooperate with our city, employee to be able to come in and look at your home, just to be sure that, we would just like to know that there's some cooperation on your side. You don't wanna break down doors or.
Right, my
any
door's
of
still
those
messed
things.
up.
But, are you willing to participate in
and
the process of?
I was willing before, but when I asked him to set a time, like I said, I've been working 2 jobs, so kinda hard for me to have a time frame for them, cause I don't usually get off from home until 7. And sometimes I work my second job, so sometimes it's 10.
And as of now, are you the only adult that lives in the home?
The only adult? No. I have 2 adult children, and also live with me. One's in college and one's working, but she's got 2 kids too.
And are her children are with you as well,
Mhm.
the babies?
Yes.
I guess I'm of the mind to give you the time and go through that first recommendation, and then once you get it cleaned up, you get a hold of Micah and we can resolve it that way. And I think, it's unfortunate things happen the way they do in life, and so we're trying to demonstrate a little compassion with your situation. But it has an impact on your neighbors too when things get.
Yeah, but the neighbors have never been into my house, so that's.
No, I understand, but it has an impact on the neighborhood, so.
Keep going through a messy divorce right now too, that ain't doing no good.
Sure. So basically, to go forward, then we just need a voice vote on number 1, then, if that's what we're looking at doing.
Yeah, so you do a motion and a second, just like normal. If they allow us into the house and we see that there's good faith effort, council can extend the 60 days if they want to. If there's not a good faith effort, council needs to be aware of that, and staff would report accordingly. But yeah, that action would be a motion and a second on number 1.
Do you feel as though 60 days is doable, since you guys have already started and you feel like you're making good headway?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Okay.
And do you have help to do this?
Well, I'll be out there helping, sure.
Yeah,
Sure, Mike.
Okay, I'll make the motion to approve the resolution.
Well, we have to close the hearing.
Oh, I guess that's
and
right.
talk about it.
But
But
sure
do
she
you
doesn't
have,
have anything
does
else.
anyone else have any questions, and do you have anything else that you want us to know?
Okay, I'll make the motion to close the public hearing.
Thank you.
We have a second? Corey seconds, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
You guys have any questions about the resolutions attached as an exhibit in the agenda item that outlines exactly what we're asking for?
Yeah.
You guys have anything you wanna ask as an attorney, who's on the phone?
I just think, you know, they've given us their word from the council. The father's committed to helping and getting the place cleaned up, and giving the opportunity to clean it up, and if not, we'll move down the numbers there to 2, 3, or 4.
And I do think that they've made some progress. I mean, and I only know that because I live across the street and I've seen some progress being made. And so I think that there's no reason to not believe that they're gonna
Follow through.
I think it sounds like with as busy as she is as well, and I should have said this before she left, but it may be worth reaching out and trying to, like, proactively schedule, towards the end of that 60 days.
Yeah.
So maybe that's easier for her work schedule, if she's got kind of a plan ahead.
We will proactively reach out. It's in the event that she doesn't schedule a time, and, you know, because we've gone through some of these processes before, obviously. 611 North Spruce is not the first one we've gone through in the city before, so. When people don't allow us in the house to confirm compliance, then we have to act accordingly, and that's where we have to come back before council. But the way the resolution is written is that it doesn't require any additional hearings for failure to comply. So if she doesn't let me in the house, I can't confirm or deny whether or not she's done anything she's vouched that she's gonna actually do. So that's kind of where we need to, the resolution gives us a little more teeth, where then we say, okay, well, now we have to go to court judge and ask for a warrant to go in the property to search it, and then if it's not compliance, then we have to act on it. There has to be obviously some standard of compliance in terms of cleanliness and everything else, and I think it has to be considered reasonable. Obviously, I'll probably go with a police officer as well for additional review, and just make sure that I'm, you know, my level of cleanliness for my own personal house maybe doesn't need to apply immediately to that property, but it has to be at least above and beyond what council was witness to on that video, to a substantial amount, in terms of trash remediation, cleaning up any feces, urine off the floor, anything of that nature has to go away, loose trash, you know, things of that nature has to be cleaned up. So, I mean, we can see that there's a reasonable standard that can be applied, but she has to allow me to be in the house. If not, then we have to go to district court.
Those things are listed in the resolution, I see here.
Yeah, they are listed in the resolution.
So if they have a list available like that,
Yes.
you know what they can do.
And they do have that list available to them?
No, not yet, because the resolution has to be adopted. If the resolution is acted on, then we can provide the list. If the resolution is modified, because you have the authority to modify the resolution whatever way you see fit. So if you feel that's unreasonable, if you feel like more, you wanna see more done or less done, you can modify the resolution accordingly. At which point then we would draft a new resolution, which the mayor would sign the next day, and we would provide that resolution to the property owner.
I definitely don't think that we need to change any of what needs to be done. I think my ask, and I know this is a little out of our scope, I think it's just from a human level compassion, is if we can make sure whether that's, I'm happy to do some looking and you guys can get it to them, or if your staff knows, but just making sure that if they need new furniture, new beds, something like that, that they can kind of find those resources. You know, I think that this needs to be done. I think that their life has had to be on display and they've had to come in here to get this done. But I also wanna make sure that at the end of this, they haven't had to throw everything away and they have nothing, for what sounds like young kids in the house as well, so.
We can typically make efforts to provide connection to the faith-based community.
That would be,
to try to do some of those things. Sometimes the challenge is folks have to be willing to accept that.
Absolutely.
Right.
I just want them to know it's out there and
Yeah.
if we have connections to just extend that olive branch for them.
Or just help remediate, like,
With the remediation process? So after adopting this, what comes next for us with regard to this, situation?
So if you adopt the resolution tonight, we give them 14 days to start the work. They've said they've already started the work, so we'll just kind of keep an eye on it. Upon 60 days, it needs to be completed. Upon I should say publication of the resolution, because the resolution does say publication, so that'd be Thursday. So upon publication of the resolution, that's when the timer starts. And so 60 days from publication is when it needs to be completed. And so then I'll go knock, but I'll call her in advance just to let her know that I'm on my way, of course, and say, hey, I want to show up on this day. And you have to let me in, and if you don't let me in, then we can get a warrant. So, but if she doesn't let me in, I have to get a warrant. That's what the resolution says. After which, we will kind of do a follow-up notice to council, but there's no follow-up meetings necessary. That's what the resolution says, is that we don't need to have another public hearing. They don't need to come back to council. The only time that they would come back to council is if there's good faith shown and they wanna ask for additional time. The resolution also says that if the property owners has shown enough good faith and they wanna ask council for leniency and additional time, they can come back and ask council for additional time in the resolution. So that's what it
I
states.
think if you have to do this on 60 days, I just wanna make sure that they know this week what date that is, so again, she can prepare time off around it, so.
Yeah, that's, yeah. And so if it's adopted upon publication 60 days after the fact. But we would just kind of inform you the status of what the house is. But obviously, after that, I would let Craig know. They are able to let me in the house, or they didn't let me in the house, so I can give you an update at that point.
And we'll get them a copy of the resolution too, by Thursday, close of business.
All right.
I make a motion to approve the resolution requiring the property owner to remediate their property as set forth in the resolution within the time given, and allowing staff to request a warrant by a court judge to search the property and remediate in the event of non-compliance.
Do we have a second?
Okay.
Naomi second. Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. And this doesn't deal anything with the things that are on the outside?
No, it's just internal.
Just on the
Yeah,
internal.
there's different resolutions pertaining to the outside. This is just for the inside. All right, thank you very much.
All right, we'll do one side at a time, I guess. Okay,
Shirley, I'll let you go.
very good, item 2,
Shirley.
famous public works director.
Evening, council and mayor. Coming tonight to ask permission to get a new truck. This will be Nick's truck. He'll be a supervisor's truck. So I would like to thank Amanda for guiding us to First Aid Ford that the gentleman that we dealt with. We've been having some difficulties getting trucks and getting within the prices that we were hoping for, our budgeted price. He was able to work out something for us and found this 2026 Ford Ranger 4x4 Super Crew cab. It definitely will fit our needs. Like I said, this will be the assistant director's truck. We'll be utilizing it. Currently, he is utilizing his personal vehicle to get around the job sites and such. As the truck becomes available, he will use it. This will take some of that burden off of him. As we've seen, it will have a towing capability of 7,500 pounds, which, yeah, it's still kind of light, but it will get some things done as well. Ideal for him. This is the trim and such, kind of gives you an idea of what we're getting here. I will say that it will be the 60,000 mile warranty on this. It is kind of under the fleet warranties as well, so the 2026s are under the 60,000 mile. Next year when we go for another vehicle, that will be under the 100,000 mile warranties. Expect that as we come to request more vehicles for next year. This is already on the lot, so they can pretty much go pick it up as soon as the check's written. We'll have the truck immediately. We will upfit it, but the upfitting costs have drastically been reduced because we do it in-house now. So what used to cost us about $4,000 is costing us a couple $100 now because one of our staff members is qualified and capable of putting in strobes and things of that nature. So final price for this truck is $39,413.50. It comes out of capital outlay, which is just under that $40,000 price point is what we're looking for. So at this point, I will take any questions.
I'm just wondering, is there anything that your staff can't do? Because every time you get up here, you're like, we do it in-house now.
We are Public Works. We do everything. That is just the history of Public Works.
That's loud and proud.
Yeah.
Bless you.
How long do you typically keep our vehicles?
You know, it all depends right now. We've kind of worked through the thought process of when to replace those. We're usually about the 10-year mark, ideally, but that is kind of going to the wayside in the fact that if a truck's giving us more problems than what it's worth, then we're just gonna replace it. We do have a truck, can't remember what year it is, but we have a truck right now that will get traded and replaced, next year. And then we have 3 trucks in the capital outlay for next year, and 2 of those will be additions to the fleet, because as our staff is growing, currently we are not having enough vehicles to provide the staff to go do their job. So like this, Nick's been driving his truck, I know Mike has been driving his personal truck as well, there for a little bit as trucks break down, and we've had that little fender bender as such, so there's been a few trucks that have been unusable for a while, and so the staff has been using their personal vehicles as well, so.
Do you have any concerns with forming a 60 or 60,000 mile warranty?
Of course, this will be under warranty, so we'll take it to Rusty for his needs work, but there again, we've got capable staff that's been doing a lot of repairs in-house, and what they are not capable of doing, they have been finding us reasonably priced mechanics to keep them to. So.
Most of our trucks are still under warranty. 3 years ago, we still had some of the old red trucks floating around, and I think even a square box truck back there, old style from early 90s. And as I disagree with Jason to some degree on the 10 years. I want to get out of these vehicles while they're still under warranty. So I'm thinking every 5 to 6 years, so long as we can do it financially. A lot of times folks have an issue with that. They don't understand the cost efficiency that occurs when you're able to get out of a vehicle while it's still under warranty. It's a pretty big savings in the long run. So if we can continue to afford it, we're going to be sticking to a vehicle equipment replacement program where we are trading these in while they still have value, and getting another vehicle and starting that warranty period over. It could be a challenge financially though when your staff is growing, by 1 a year or something like that. It's because you have to add new vehicles to the fleet and you're not always replacing. We do have some vehicles that would fit the bill of trading in after 10 years or even older than that we're still working to get out of. But
When I first came on, the first vehicle we purchased was to get rid of the last red truck. So, and I agree with Craig that these trucks do have more value if you can trade them off under warranty. And unfortunately, at the moment, we're not able to trade off frequently enough. So
we're almost there.
I imagine a few more years we'll definitely be there. So.
This would fit in under the thought that they were trading horse more.
Yes, and I don't know how much mileage it will get because of the type of administrative work that this employee does. The goal would be to trade it in before the 60,000 miles comes up, for sure. So 4, 5, 6 years at most.
I do feel like the one bonus, I did not realize this year that you were getting a 60,000 mile warranty, but I would say, I don't know how it works before, but getting a fleet deal and having one representative, just personally from our own business side, I feel like you now have a specific point, a specific person on these vehicles that you can call or text and they get it done, and I really appreciate that about Restia. So I'm glad that you're able to find something, and hopefully, especially the 60,000 mile warranty, you're able to kind of keep that connection so that if something goes wrong, he'll get it fixed for you. So.
I guess my only comment about miles and money and vehicles and warranties is it's a capital budget decision, and depending on the mileage, the condition, I'm not sure I agree with trading cars off just based on warranty alone. The average age of a car or vehicle on the road today in the United States is between 11 and 12 years old, and everybody's driving like used cars. But be that as it may.
Is that the newer cars? Because I feel like all these electronic cars are not meant to go.
Well, I'm just saying that the average age of a car in the United States still on the road today is 11 or 12 years old. There's a lot of old junkers out there. I'm driving some of them that are almost 20 years old. So that brings that ratio down. So anyway, moving along here. Let's any other comments? So we want to make a motion.
I'll make a motion to recommend the city that we move forward to approve the purchase of the 2026 Ford Ranger 4x4 Super Crew XL from Rusty Ford for $39,413.50.
We have a motion on the table. We have a second. Naomi seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And thank you, Amanda, for being a bird dog and getting us some find the trucks. Okay, 1 down, 2 to go. Jason, you're still up.
Alright. So the next thing we got here is seeking approval to enter an agreement with Harlan, the CED, to start the 2027 street improvements. We are looking at the next year's street improvements, Oak Street, Spruce, and 7th, Easy, 7th, and King Fort. All these will be designed by Harlan if we decide to enter this contract with him. And essentially it's pretty cut and dry. This would be the full engineering design fee of $91,666. Harlan has been doing our roads this year as well. I think we're all pretty well aware of all the work Harlan has done for us, and we appreciate Harlan and all the work he's been doing for us. Essentially, this would come out of the 5 for 5 project. Those funds, we will also have the ability to work in conjunction with our street maintenance program as well. As Harlan's designing the street improvements, we will also be working on those maintenance issues as we move forward. Hopefully we have analytics by then and can utilize the data from that to help with that street maintenance. So essentially, do we have any questions on this?
Are we getting close to taking care of all the D and D- streets that were graded a couple years ago? Or?
You know, I can't really speak to that because I have not really looked at that grading system that closely. But as we get the Spider Lakes, we're going to do a reassessment of the streets and really kind of decide, move into a new phase of extending out the plans of what really needs to be done and what doesn't need to be done. So I will say the future of our streets and such and our infrastructure, I've been talking to staff and such, and Craig's been on board with, we're going to sit down and have some hardline plans on what the future looks like as far as these improvements and these maintenance programs. So this is just gets us one step closer to defining that.
Any other questions?
Make a motion to authorize me that Fleet Engineering Service contract with certified engineering design CA for the 2027 street improvement projects for a lump sum engineering design fee not to exceed $91,666.
We have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
Second.
Amanda seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. And Harlan, thank you as always for all the work you do for us. You spend quite a few years out here. You kind of know the lay of the land. And
You're welcome.
And we appreciate the work you do. We are rolling along here. Item J, City Manager.
Honorable Mayor, City Council, a couple of quick item updates here for you on some operations and different things that the city is working on your behalf. The fiscal year 2027 budget, we're finished with all the workshops. I believe we had 4 public workshops, and we also had a couple of engagement opportunities on the budget. So the day after Labor Day, Tuesday, September 8th, will be our regularly scheduled city council meeting. We'll have our revenue neutral rate hearing and our regular budget hearing and request authorization to approve the fiscal year 2027 budget. Then we'll be on our way with that. So thanks for all the time and effort of our CFO and the community and the council in that process. We do have a fun community celebration coming up. National Night Out is this Friday, August 7th. So should be hopping in Linear Park and Main Street. And super excited to see all of our first responders out there and our community coming together to celebrate them and their work. Guiding Goddard Comprehensive Plan, I've listed a few public meetings that are coming up as it relates to that project. The Goddard Go Transportation Program. My colleagues Ryan and Sarah have been dealing with title issues and all kinds of fun with tag office trying to get that van, legal and here delivered. So nothing of any fault of theirs. We were sent the wrong stuff. And so they've been really good about trying to work through that, which is exciting that we're gonna have the van here pretty quick, so. The city council AV upgrades, Mayor, I told you wrong earlier, the work actually begins Tuesday, August 18th, so we're still a couple weeks out on that. About one more council meeting of dealing with, no microphones, so thanks for your patience again on that. The Strategic Growth Overlay District, that's gonna be a hot topic on the Monday, August 10th Planning Commission. You guys will consider ratifying that during the August 17th City Council meeting. That was first discussed a year ago. Something we should have moved forward with because we're directed to, and kind of fell through the cracks amongst all the other things that are going on. So we'll bring it back up here. Trails End 3rd Edition, the stormwater and the paving crews started last week with the stormwater portion of that project. Public Works facility is progressing well, as is the park. Water looping project is moving along nicely. I'm gonna get to the streets here next, so they kind of are intertwined there. We're just gonna have the base level asphalt down for probably about another month, which is a bit of an irritant because you got almost slow to a stop as you're coming up and over those intersections. Reason the top coat's not going on is because we're waiting for NBI to get finished, moving a little slower than I'd like, so I hope we can put a little feet to the fire on them through the month of August, because we're not going to put the base coat of the asphalt on those roads until NBI is out of the way, so we're not, messing up any of our nice streets. So hopefully we can get that taken care of so we can finish that road project, but that's what's hanging that up. Bridger at Maple, Willow Ridge paving, they're progressing. Bill's at President Ridge Creek, Rachel Brook Estates Phase 3. I'm going in opposite order here just to keep the mayor honest. All of these projects are kind of starting to get into the paving phase here in stormwater, so we should start seeing some vertical construction on the houses here pretty quick. July was a huge month for us. I think on the next manager's report I'll kind of give you a count. I know I used to do that on permits issued and stuff, so I'll kind of give you an update on where that's at. July has been a really big month. I think quarter 3 and quarter 4 are going to be really big months because we've got a few weeks left of paving on some of these projects, and then they'll be shovel ready and a flow of permit requests will be coming in from the builders. So the micromobility device, that's come up a couple times now at council meetings, so I kind of sent a reminder email out to our city attorney and Chief Eagley today, because we do have an ordinance that's ready to go that we're just making some final tweaks on. Hopefully we'll have that to you guys at the next council meeting for your consideration. Maybe one that we need to take a couple meetings to workshop through, because I think there'll be some sentiment about that we'll want to make sure we're considering. But we too agree that it is a safety concern, and we probably need to regulate that a little more than what's happening today. 167 23rd Street, they should be in construction soon. Maple Tree, we had the bid opening. The pre-construction conference should be scheduled soon. The Mayor's Youth Council, super excited that that's progressing, so we'll have some action on that coming up here in a few weeks. If you have any questions about that, let us know. Here's a list of upcoming agenda items, and super excited to share that after 3 years of applying, Ryan Schrack, our Deputy City Manager, learned a few weeks ago that we've been awarded the Public Arts and Murals Grant. So there is a picture of the mural that will be painted on the south wall there at Stroop Lockers. So super excited about further opportunity to invest in beautification within our awesome downtown corridor. I'm assuming it's going to come up in governing body comments. I'll just address it here briefly. The issues that were brought to you guys about the Rachel Brook Estates, the city council, or the city staff have been well aware and diligently working through that issue for the last 2 weeks. So we are requiring the developer and their engineer essentially to put together the paperwork, do the engineering, do the traffic engineering for that. And we're going to ask the property owner to dedicate us the right-of-way necessary in order to match the roadway profiles. I don't know if this issue was explained to where you guys understood what was being communicated to you. coming out of Rachel Brook Estates, which was platted in the county, you have a fairly narrow road, and it meets up into a roadway profile in the existing neighborhood there to the east that's wider, and so we're merely just gonna match the roadway profile, so you have the same size road connecting into another same size road, and then the property owner's driveway will connect into the new city road. If they would like it to connect to the new city road, then they're gonna be asked to petition into the city, because they're gonna be utilizing city infrastructure, so, it wouldn't be fair for them to utilize that road at no cost. If they would like to pay to tie their gravel private drive into the existing gravel drive that's in the county, then they can finance the cost to do that, and then they can stay in the unincorporated county. So we've been working on that, working with the property owner. We've had several lengthy phone calls. We've conversed with the developer and their engineer. Our engineer will validate the traffic safety and those types of things in that area. So that matter is being handled administratively, and I hadn't communicated it to you guys because, quite frankly, it's not something that rises to the level requiring governing body action. So just wanted you to be aware of where that was at. If there are any questions, I'd be glad to stand for those.
I just think it's come in front of us at this point, so I'd like to make sure that we get a copy of what he left and maybe an email, just a better description of what's going on.
Absolutely.
I think I'll take the idea to drive by and just understand in length what's going on before I comment on it. So
Yeah, what'll happen is we'll get a design for a change order, and the city will authorize the change order, and we'll go in there and fix it the way it's supposed to be. So
when is
sometime,
their 30 days up? I'm so sorry. He mentioned that they were given 30 days to make a decision. Are we pausing that since?
it's not a hard and fast 30 days, but the project is under construction right now. So if we want to get a change order in while the road's being built, they need to make a decision to dedicate a sliver of their property towards public right-of-way. They need to make that decision and sign that paperwork, and then they also need to agree to petition in the city. If they're unwilling to make a decision, then it's just gonna go forward as it is. So it's not a hard deadline by any means, but it's, hey, we need an answer from you, and we need you to take care of this, make a decision within 30 days, because this project's gonna be over.
So was this not properly assessed before the developer did this? I'm just trying to, I guess I'm a little confused on how the property owner is gonna be out something or have to be annexed or pay money for something that sounds like was someone else's fault and they did nothing wrong.
Development happens a little differently in the county.
Right.
Just leave it there politely, and now that it's in the city limits, it's a hanging issue that we need to take care of.
So
I can provide clarity if you want, Craig.
Go ahead, come on up.
Do you want me to?
I have a few follow-up questions
So-
to go, sorry. Yeah.
They're all the same questions I have to.
Yeah. Yeah. This sounds like this didn't start as a city issue, but I just wanna make sure that we're addressing
Everybody
this
comes and talk to
fairly.
council after I talk to them. I talked to a really aggressive guy on the phone. Can I talk to you guys instead?
We fed the animals.
So, as you know, Rachel Brook Estates was platted in the county, right?
Mhm.
Just like Elk Ridge was platted in the county. So certain provisions of how it was platted and whatnot are outside. We didn't do anything to platting. But also, the property owner is outside the improvement district. So he's not being special assessed because he's not benefiting from the improvement district like all the rest of the property owners in Rachel Brook Estates. If he wanted to tie into that road, he would have that opportunity, and he could have had that opportunity of paying for special assessments and being in part of that improvement district and paying specials just like the rest of Rachel Brook Estates property owners. Since he did it, and since the improvement district is outside of his area, no improvements can happen on personal property if it's not part of that improvement district. So MKDC is the engineering firm. Now, whether or not, I can't say if they engineer incorrectly, correctly, or anything of that nature. All I can tell you is that the only thing they were allowed to engineer is the improvement area, which was the land that was privately bought and purchased by Lane Real Estate. And so they engineered that development per the standards and specs that they were allowed to design it to, and they tied it to an existing public road which exists, which is Hickory Street. And so the property owner, I think, is largely trying to use the safety issue to say, hey, I don't want to pay specials, I don't want to be annexed, but I want to tie into a public road.
So if we drive past there, are we gonna see a safety issue?
You're not gonna be able to tell because it's actively being constructed
There's
right
no
now.
road there right now.
The other thing is it's just miscommunication that happened, I'm gonna assume it was 2 years ago when they were, going through the project planning, because as I understand it, hearing from the multiple parties involved, verbal commitments were made, hey, we're gonna do this, this isn't gonna be a through street, well, county fire wants it to be, so it needs to be, and, just what they were expecting to happen maybe isn't what did. Now that it's annexed into the city, it's our problem to deal with. So the simple solution is to match the roadway profile, so you don't have a smaller street filtering into a bigger street, the bigger street being on the east side there and the existing county road. So just to explain it one more time, and this is complicated, we don't typically make sausage from the dais, so maybe we'll leave it at this and you give us the opportunity to send more information. If you want to discuss it in the agenda item, we can. I don't advise getting yourselves involved in these things, but it's up to you, your prerogative if you would like to. He is being asked by the city to dedicate a very small sliver of his property to the city to be public right of way, so we can match the narrower roadway profile with the existing roadway profile. And then he wants his driveway tied into the new road that he will undoubtedly utilize, which is paved, currently is on gravel, paved road to get out to 167th Street. Maybe he will still use the way he always has from here on out. I doubt he will. He would probably want to use the other road in some circumstances because it's paved and it may give him access to where he wants to go more easily. Point being is you don't utilize the city's infrastructure without paying city taxes, which is why he's being required to petition to the city if he wants us to connect his road into the city's road. So that's where that's at. We will send you guys some more information in writing. Again, not good practice probably for us to be creating sausage from the bench tonight. And if we want to talk about it more offline individually, I'd be glad to. I'm not going to put this on the agenda unless there's a vote of the council to do that. I don't think it's appropriate. So.
And I'd agree with that, Craig. We can't have people coming in here with issues and making requests and demanding to put on our agenda.
I agree with not putting it on the agenda, but I do think it's important
Well,
that we are
Let me
warned.
finish. He has a problem. He doesn't want to pay for it. So much like so many other things, and we only get half the story when they come in here and talk. So here we are, and I wish you would have stuck around to the end because maybe we could have some we can actually have a dialogue with it. But we have to trust the work of our staff on these things, and if somebody comes in, I feel like you just get sniped at sometimes, and this is one of those things. He waltzes in here. This hasn't been an issue. The guy, I don't think, communicated with the guys that he was going to come in here and show up tonight. So all of a sudden, they put on the spot. We don't need to put ourselves in these positions. We need to let our staff do their work and do their jobs, and try not to get involved in things that are emotionally charged and for very limited and personal benefit of an individual. I mean, if he doesn't want to pay to have access to the street, he doesn't want to be annexed, and he can use the old road that's there. I mean, he has a lot of choices, but that shouldn't be our problem.
And you guys will consider it if he's dedicating right away to us, and he sends us a consent annexation. You'll have all the time in the world to discuss it from the bench then. So
I just think we're setting a very dangerous precedent by telling people that it shouldn't be our problem, and so if they come to us because they feel like and I'm not saying this is what has happened, but they feel like they have not gotten anywhere where they're at, that.
No, and I don't think that isn't what's happened here. They're working on something, they're in the middle of it, it hasn't been brought to a formal conclusion, and he comes in here and he's complaining to us. He's basically, he's jumping over their authority and putting us in a position and putting them in a bad position. I don't think he's not being fair and honest. He didn't give us the full story, and I think the bigger issue is that if we let this guy come in here and buffalo his way onto an agenda item, I mean, the door's gonna open up and there'll be other people coming in here with complaints of things and going over our staff to get to us to get things that they want done. And I think that's.
But have you gone out and seen the
It's
situation
not my problem.
to see if it's a safety issue?
They are working on it. That's their responsibility. If we need to have oversight responsibility for what our staff is doing, and if they've missed something, which apparently from what they've said they haven't,
I don't feel like that's what Craig said at all.
We're not done yet. We're
That's what I'm saying.
halfway
Yeah.
through the movie. It's not
Yeah.
a fully baked cake. We've got to get engineer, change order submittal, so it's pretty premature to.
It's going through a process.
But the process.
They're in the
is-
process and these people are in the county and they're trying to, and we're in the city. So for them to appeal to us from the county perspective, we really have no jurisdiction over, we don't have any jurisdiction over how this goes. We have to trust the process and let our city staff do that. We can listen to them and hear the case, but we can't make a judgment because they're in the county.
But I think they're being told that we're halfway through the story, but they have a very limited window to be annexed in, and I just think, I just wanna be sure that, I don't think this started as a city thing, and it sounds like, Harlan, I don't know if you care to comment on this, cause obviously you guys didn't do this, you don't have the full scope, but to me, if you're gonna spec something out as an engineer, you're gonna look at your surroundings still. You're not gonna say, this is the land I've got and not look at everything around the land, right? So, I'm not saying that that's what NKEC did. I think that they're a really great company. I work with them personally. But if something happened that did create a safety issue, I'm not here to argue whether it did or it didn't, but if it did, and the solution is that they have to be annexed into our city to have their safety issue fixed, that feels slimy. That's just my one voice, that's my one opinion. I don't think it's appropriate. If this had not been an issue, that potentially if you come to the end of this and you're like, hey, no one did anything wrong, this is not a safety issue, this is not something, then yeah, if you wanna use the road, you get annexed in. But if somebody else along the way did something that created a safety issue for their home, it would be wrong of us to turn around and piggyback off of that. That's my opinion on it.
I do not disagree with that.
Yeah, and that's why I just wanna see it, because I cannot
Well, we'll get you
visualize
some-
what is happening.
We'll get you a picture and some more narrative too. We're trying to fix the issue that was bequeathed to us.
Right, it
We're
wasn't
trying
on
to do.
us, but yeah.
But also, we should not be in a practice of allowing people to tie into city infrastructure and not kick in the cost to maintain it. That's not right when we fix it.
And I don't think, I don't.
Go ahead,
I'm gonna say one more thing. I do not think it is fair for someone to march in here and say that we're creating a safety issue. That's his personal opinion, and that doesn't make it true. I mean, that's his claim, but there's so many other people involved in this before it gets to this point, and we just need to let the staff resolve it. And it's, I take offense to someone coming in here and claiming a safety issue on a street project that's being negotiated between a whole bunch of folks. That bothers me. I don't think that's fair. I don't think it's truthful. I don't think he was being honest. That's my take on that, so.
And I'm not saying that we should allow people to do that, but I'm just saying I need a picture. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with being able to see it
Oh, I
for
think that's
ourselves
fine.
if it's a safety issue,
Go
George,
out and
like.
look. But
and
I
if it-
don't-
But I do trust our staff, 100%, but I also feel like it's worth it just to get a visual.
We'll
That's
get it to
all
you
I'm
guys.
saying.
We'll get y'all that.
I'd like to understand what his options are that
Yeah.
not just what he's
Yeah.
telling us his options
Right.
are.
Yeah.
What
The whole
are his real
picture.
options? Like,
Yeah.
is there an option where he does nothing, it doesn't cost him anything, and he can keep driving out the driveway?
And it's not unsafe.
Right.
Like, I just can't.
If it is.
Yeah.
I mean, we're deferring to you if it is. That's,
Right.
I'm not saying it is, I'm just saying if it is.
It'll be engineered for sure, and we'll get you guys the options. I know Harlan.
I was just gonna say, Mr. Jack called me a couple weeks ago and expressed his concern, and I passed him to MKEC. I will tell you, there are two sides to this story.
Of course.
And
Of
you're
course.
not hearing the other side or the attempts, I don't believe, I don't think you're hearing the attempts that were made on the other side to resolve this, because there's only a half-street right-of-way there. That's the dilemma. The
Okay.
other half-street right-of-way that should have been created was evidently, for whatever reason, maybe not negotiated and didn't come about. And so the consequence of that is now it's a safety issue. I mean, not created by the city or anybody, it's a fact these previous negotiations, I think,
And was
called
he-
the failure of that.
I call them miscommunications and comments I made earlier. So you got, 3 or 4 different parties that are kind of pointing fingers, and we're, staff is just trying to use our professional judgment and our process to fix it, because Richard Brook Estates is in the city limits now, so we gotta handle it. We don't want a half right of way tying into an existing roadway profile that's twice as big. It's a circle bird.
I'm sorry, did I say something? Maybe
No, you know what, no, I have I would like to just read it. I don't
Okay.
think it's
Send it
worth
over.
continuing to speculate.
Very good. Any other comments?
Let's see. Nope, that's
You're-
all.
you're- all right.
Thanks, guys.
Sometimes we have to agree to disagree on things, and we'll move forward and show them the ropes. Corey, comments from the governing body?
I think the only thing I wanted to bring up that, I was looking back over your report, maybe I missed it, but it looks like they're making good progress on the culvert frontage access off Kellogg, so I know a lot of people are pretty happy to see that those are getting done and potholes are getting eliminated in those areas, so.
I think there's one left, but sorry, Aaron, I try to keep these to 2 pages.
Yeah, no, I noticed it was a little long anyway, but I do think the progress there, aside from the normal 5 and 5, that's been good progress on the roadside, so. That's all I had.
Very good.
Good to see all the progress. I would echo that. I'll say this every time I have the opportunity. Linda, thank you for bringing the mini bikes to our attention again. Parents, adults, I don't think I could say it enough. If you have not experienced a brain injury, it is one of the worst things that you could experience. This is just not worth it. It's not worth letting your teens ride around, especially with no helmets. With a frontal cortex that's not fully developed at that, and this is not an injury that you ever 100% come back from, and so I just would urge our community to make safer decisions without us stepping in. So.
Agreed. And sometimes without shoes too.
I was just touching on the helmet, but if you want to talk about it, I've seen people about shirts as well, so.
But you try to stop on one of those things moving 30 miles an hour without any shoes on, you're not gonna have any skin left in the bottom.
The inside of the daughter rehab's beautiful, but it's not fun, so.
All right. Vice Mayor.
I'm excited about that mural. We have waited a really long time for that.
That survey was a long time ago.
Very excited. We will get the pocket park under control. Also, there's a lot of excitement about North Park right now. I've had several clients comments about how that's going, and very excited about that. I would also like to thank Janelle for coming to the hearing tonight, for speaking up for herself and for advocating for herself. So I do appreciate that she came in, and I hope that we can have a good result with that.
Yes, thank you, Linda, for coming. I just want to give a shout out to the Senior Center for putting on the school drive this a couple days ago. I was watching some live video from the giveaway today over at Pathways, and I saw Dane get up there and said it's the most supplies that they've ever received or gotten. Just with the whole USB 265, they've been doing lots of different school drives, and so it looks like it was the most successful it's ever been. He had mentioned that he thought there was probably enough backpacks for just about any kid that would need them, as well as supplies, and they showed quite a big video. So it was a fun night, and so thank you for doing all of that hard work to get that drive kicked off out here last weekend. So it was a fun night. So thanks for coming up with the idea and putting that on.
Pretty short notice, I think, too.
2 weeks notice. 2 weeks
Just
notice.
imagine what I'm doing if you market it right.
And then also, in line with the school, just a shout out to the Goddard Lions Club. They, we had 50 new teachers to Goddard, this year, and so one of the things that the Lions Club does is give $100 to every new teacher so that they can prepare their classroom. So we got to go and give those dollar bills. They don't know that it's coming, and so when they open up their envelopes all at the same time, and what was really cool is sticking around and hearing the stories. And you know, even though they're not brand, some of them were brand new teachers, that this is their first year they taught, but there were several that have been teaching. Like one lady came up and said that she's been teaching for 25 years and just moved to Goddard, and she was very emotional and said that in 25 years nobody's ever done anything that kind. And so not only her, but another guy that has been a teacher a while said that he's just so impressed with Goddard and how nice that everybody has been since they've been here. So it's really cool to hear people from out of state or in other areas that come to our town and just love the heck out of being here. So I'm just really grateful to be living here. And it was a fun event.
Very good. A couple things. Number one, August 11th at the 3 o'clock WAMPO meeting, the final vote for the 183rd Street project, the roundabout and paving 183rd Street from Maple to Central. I think it's been voted on and public appeared in 3 different committees. I think this might be the 6th or 7th vote. So if you're thinking about praying for things, that'd be one thing maybe to put on the prayer list for the next week, that would finally cross the finish line.
Mayor, I think the Maple Street path is also on there to receive some funding.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a
So,
10-foot wide path from 135th.
Sidewalk from here to eternity?
It's a long one.
No, it's from 183rd Street to 135th out to 183rd, so. A little racetrack for all the speeders.
Too soon.
Too soon. All right. The other thing is tomorrow is the primary elections. I'd encourage everyone to vote if you haven't and exercise your civic duties. So with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Makes the motion. 40 seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We're honorably